And welcome to the Southborough Housing Opportunity Partnership Committee meeting tonight, Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. Meeting will commence at 7:07 p.m. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to move us.
On your calendar at 7:07 p.m. Just tell me if you'd like me to create it.
My watch. It's doing. Sorry. All right. Let's just pump through these minutes if you wouldn't mind. Jesse, can you make a motion to approve? Doug, can you second? And if there's any changes or whatever, then we can discuss those so we can move this along.
Sorry, what's
Could you make the motion to approve the minutes? Doug, second, and then we'll, if there's a discussion on any set of them, we can do that.
Which set of minutes are we voting on?
All of them. There's many. There's May 30th, June 12th, June 20th, June 27th.
So moved.
Second.
Then it's also July 10th and August 8th. Does anybody have any changes on any of those or discussing any of those?
No, other than noting that I was not present at the August 8th or the July meetings. So I don't know if I'm supposed to vote on them or not.
There's no quorums. We didn't really, there's nothing
Oh,
there.
gotcha.
We attended other meetings. So
Do you need to do meeting minutes when we don't have a quorum and don't have a formal meeting?
I think I have to notify the town clerk that we didn't have a quorum and I have to put it in writing. So that's why I just did it this way.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Really, we only have a couple of sets of minutes. We have May 30th that are officially like minutes. Let's see. All right, let's do it. Yeah. All right. Well, we're seconded and most of these, half of these are just no quorums. So June 20th, oh, that's agenda. No, do we have any changes to any of the minutes that we did have? July 10th, May 30th. I think those are the only two that have actual minutes. The other ones are no quorums. No discussion? Okay, this will be a roll call vote for approval of minutes. Jesse?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
And Dorianne is aye. Okay, minutes are done. Okay, Sarah, you want to give us a quick update on the 3 grants that we have in motion at this point?
Sure. It will be relatively brief. I reached out to our contact for the one-stop application. We were not awarded that preliminary grant that we thought maybe we would be for, coming in at the end of last fiscal year, but he did say that we were still in the running for our one-stop full application, and that the award letters should be going out. He said in the fall again in his email. On the website, it does say between October and November. So we're hoping to hear from that relatively soon. I did identify a few other programs. I sent Dorian a document earlier today. Dorian, do you want me to share that?
Sure.
Or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I'm just going to share it really quickly. Host disabled participant screen sharing somehow.
How do I do that?
I think if you just click on sharing it,
Shop screen.
it'll enable.
I don't see enable. It says share. Let's see.
There should be like a little.
Okay, there you go. That should do it. Did I do it? No.
I don't know. It's funny because I'm getting like when I have the green button, but when I press it, oh, here we go. Hold on. I got it. We're in good shape.
Did it do it?
Yes. Can everyone see my document?
Yep.
Okay, great. So these are a few federal resources that I think that we should go after. The number one, it, just came out a little while ago, is the pathways to removing obstacles to housing, which is another opportunity for us, if we don't get the one-stop money, to apply to have, that sort of like research done, that sort of in-depth recommendation done on what the problems are with the bylaws that are really holding up that housing development. The next one is whether
Hey, Sarah, really quick before, can I ask a quick question on that one?
Yeah.
And just to kind of frame this whole thing, just because at least I haven't been in a meeting with Shopc for a while, so some of the details have faded on what our grant was. Am I correct in remembering that we were applying for grant money to hire a consultant to review our zoning bylaws and give us recommendations and advise us on zoning, proposed zoning amendments to remove some of the barriers to housing? Is that what the grant is that was denied? Am I remember that correctly?
So it's not that it was denied, we just don't have any feedback yet. So I'm
Okay.
gonna try to go after this PRO housing as well, because it's within the same scope. So hopefully we will hear back in early October, but I'm sort of growing impatient with not
Yeah,
hearing back
but
from
that was
One
the
Stop.
purpose of that grant, right? Was for
Yes,
the
sir.
zoning, consultation on zoning revisions. Okay, gotcha. Thanks.
That's the one stop, Tom.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So again, this is the same scope, but just another opportunity to try to take a bite out of that apple in case the one stop is not approved for whatever reason. The other one that I thought might be applicable, there's a weatherization assistance program through the Department of Energy that was released in the summer. It's just something that I think, we could use. It does call out, especially sort of multifamily housing and, workforce development sort of housing. The scope seems to be potentially aligned with 21 Highland Street project in terms of the weatherization stuff and looking into how to upgrade those types of functions. The Choice Neighborhoods implementation grant, which was also just released very recently, to support comprehensive neighborhood revitalization plans. And I think that, again, looking at the future in terms of the MBTA communities compliance, I think that this is something that could sort of overlay on that and support those efforts in terms of developing a space and creating a neighborhood where we have that additional multifamily housing. And the last one is that Healthy Homes Technical Studies program. And just kind of this goal is to make sure that we have improved knowledge of housing related health and safety hazards, sort of going beyond the scope of just affordable housing, but making sure that people have a level of awareness of how to improve their, residential living space. So those are a few that I came up with. There are a few more, but these are the ones that I'm most familiar with and able to answer questions on at the moment. And they, again, are very recent. The last one just came out on the 15th. So I'm working with Vanessa to set up this is through grants.gov, which is a federal website. And so right now, currently, the town doesn't have access to that. It is a free service. It's not like anything that needs to be paid for. It just needs to be set up with the town's EIN number and some of those details that I am not privy to myself. So I'm working with Vanessa to get that going so that we can apply for some of these.
And
So just my quick 2 cents on that. I think the only one that really is applicable to us is that first one. Because I think the others are for major, like we're not doing any major, we don't have any existing housing projects that need weatherization. We just, we as shops here aren't gonna do that. I don't know if the town has any money to do that. We're not gonna do a neighborhood revitalization. I mean, we're talking tens of millions of dollars for those things. I don't think those grants really apply, but it seems to me like that first one really does apply. That's asking for grants to get us to basically do the same thing as the one-stop grant that we're trying for.
For
So,
sure,
but-
yeah. So again, those are just some things I wanted to bring to the table. I agree with you. Some of them are much broader in scope, but I think that just raising awareness of what's out there and what we might be able to overlap with other initiatives is a good idea. I also reached out to the Community Economic Development Assistance Corporation and spoke with Jacqueline Pasejo. She is the lead lending operations manager there, to try to see if we could potentially, garner some grant opportunities through them. One of the ones that I thought was the most applicable is only given to nonprofits. So she's going to go back to her team and see if there's anything else that we might be able to access through that quasi-governmental agency. And at, Dorian's recommendation, we also applied through the Mass Housing Partnership with Shelley Goddering. I'm sure I'm butchering her last name, who's the senior programs manager, to get some technical assistance to provide navigation and
21 Highland, yeah.
discussion between the Affordable Housing Trust Fund and Shopc and CPC and, someone, sort of a third party who has all of the knowledge, the intimate knowledge of best practices in terms of spending and in terms of communication, to come in and really provide some of that support. She also presented to the CPC board in July.
It was in July.
I think it was a July meeting. I would recommend, if you haven't had an opportunity, it's a pretty short presentation, to take a look at that. She definitely gave some really great insight on how to spend these monies compliantly and how to work together to do that.
Okay. Any word on the lead hazard reduction grant that we have applied for? Anything on that?
No, still sort of,
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sarah. You've done an awful lot of work on these grants for us, and we are very grateful. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay. The other item on the agenda is the 21 Highland Street planning discussion. So I have heard from Historic. They have a quorum for the 18th of October with us. I have not heard from Recreation yet, and Freddie emailed me today saying that they're not going to come because they're going to have the same discussion at their meeting on the 25th, and she will inform me of what their talking points or whatever they did, which kind of defeats the purpose of getting together to discuss it, but I guess they just can't meet on the 18th. So right now it's Historic and us that we've heard from, that we have all set for the 18th. So based on that, what my thought process was for doing this, their recreation is in that building now. We would love to see affordable housing there. Historic wants to save the building. So those are the three groups right now. And I know Open Space wants to be involved in any plantings or any of that to make sure that the land's taken care of, not disrupted. Whatever else they're taking a look at, I don't know, they won't be there at the meeting. But I was thinking if we could come up with key talking points from Shopc's point of view that we wanted to bring to the table to discuss that night, I believe that would give us a better organized meeting if we had talking points written down from each group. So what I asked Historic to do was to ask for Kevin to ask his group to email him just key thought process of why they want to save the building, or do they want to save the building, or anything that they want to discuss at this meeting. And for him to send them to me, I'll put them all together on a list. I'll disperse it to you guys. Kevin will disperse it to his team, and Freddie and Jen will disperse it to their teams, because all communication should be going through chairs specifically, not coming from different chairs to different groups. So, and I'm going to try to get that to be a Zoom meeting. I don't know if they can do a Zoom meeting from the senior center, because right now I have a scheduled at the senior center. So does anybody, so that's, I just wanted to get us all together to kind of hash this out. What do we want to do with this building? Now we're hearing that the selectmen want to tear it down. I don't want to get in the middle of that part of it. I was also informed today that from Mr. Hamilton that he is in charge of the 21 Highland Street discussions. So I'm not really sure where we're going with this, but I think I need to be proactive, plan accordingly, and maybe just get us to write some stuff down that we want to discuss at the meeting with everyone.
So Doreen, I'm kind of getting back up to speed on things again on this. You know, when that last left off, you know, when we presented the 21 Island report to the select board, and we sort of talked generally about next steps, you know, we talked sort of big picture that, you know, it really would make the best sense to eventually send this out to an RFP and have a, you know, either community development group or a private developer develop the project as a public-private partnership. We donate the land and probably some CPC funds and stuff like that to make the economics work. But all the details as to what, you know, how this would all take place and what they would propose, and then we're talking about pre-RFP meetings with potential developers and requests for interest and stuff like that. Do you know if that's sort of heading that direction? I mean, like when they say, hey, you know, the select board's decided to tear down the building, is that just, you know, I guess I'm not clear on what the context is. So are they saying sort of, you know, if we hire, you know, have speak to developers and tell them what we want in the development plan that they could submit an RFP, we would prefer that your plan involve demoing the building, or we would prefer that your plan would not involve development. Do you have a sense of where they, like, in what context they're talking about, you know, that the discussions are happening now, and are they going down that path?
I think they've really just started. I know there's a group of residents that are up in arms and they do not want that building torn down. And there is a petition. My understanding is there's 50 or 60 signatures on it right now. I know the selectmen are meeting tonight, and part of that discussion will be 21 Highland Street.
Oh, well, okay.
I'm not sure. All I know is I was told that the selectmen, Al said the building's in bad shape, and this is from someone telling me. I have not heard these words from him myself, but that he's under the impression that he wants to tear the building down. Whether he does or he doesn't, it's not my choice. That's what I've been told. The neighbors are upset. That's what they heard. That's why, and we had already set up this meeting. I just think it's important that all of the groups that have an interest in that building, that we all kind of get together and talk about this. There should be some type of a forum where our voices are heard, and we want to talk about what the best use is for that building to benefit this town and the residents. And we have to be cognizant of the neighborhood that's over there, and we have to protect the values of those homes. And if something's built there, it has to be something that meets the character of that area. It can't just be torn down and put a 10-story building in with all these apartments in it. So, I mean, I don't know what the answer is. I just know that I believe that we should all be talking with each other. And this was my first attempt to try to just get recreation, who's in there now, open space, because, you know, it's land, it's plantings. Shopc has, you know, would like to see affordable housing in there if it's even possible. And then we have historic, and, you know, they want to save that building. It's a historic building. It's a beautiful building.
Just out of curiosity, do you know what the reasons the select board any reasons why they want to tear down the building? Is there particular reasons?
Just things that have been said here or there. They want to tear it down, is what I was told. I was not at the meeting, but I know there were people very upset.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
I got that secondhand. So firsthand knowledge, I don't have. I didn't hear it. That's what I was told. And all I know is the neighbors are very, very upset. And I'm not sure they're going to be at the tonight or not. So
so this was an agenda item at last night's planning board meeting, and I was not present at the select board meeting when this was discussed, and I have not reviewed the YouTube of it. But what was discussed last night at planning board was apparently the select board seems sort of on the same page, unanimous that from a cost basis, I think they used the word or the term money pit. From that perspective, they're under the assumption that it would be more cost effective to demolish rather than work with the existing footprint, existing building. Now, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like from our subcommittee, one of the overriding themes is that the next logical step is a legitimate feasibility study from a consultant.
Yeah, that's sort of what I thought that the select board and someone, I'm not sure what the dynamics are, who does it, but I thought that would be the next step, is that someone would commission a feasibility study.
And I recall that being the conclusion of the joint meeting that we had. What's that, Dorian?
I recall the discussion about a feasibility study being the next step.
Okay. So at last night's meeting, when this topic came up of that, the select board were leaning towards demolition. I think I said something like, is that actually their next step? And I believe Mimi said, I could be wrong, but this was just last night, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm pretty sure Mimi Latrella said, actually what they're going to do is get a feasibility study, but they're sort of predisposed.
Because I mean, in my mind, why did if the building, cost is something that becomes a little bit irrelevant if a third party developer is going to develop the space. It's going to be their cost. I mean, ultimately, we will, in an indirect manner, be contributing to the cost because we'll be, donating the land, presumably, and maybe some level of CDC funding. So I suppose if it costs the developer more to preserve the building and gut it and build it out, that would in turn increase our incremental contribution of funds to it. But it wouldn't really be the town's cost, because presumably the town's not going to do this project itself and isn't going to incur the costs to do the retrofit and rehab and conversion to housing. So it's a little odd. The sort of context is a little.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate that Mr. Hamilton isn't here. He's actually the select board.
Yeah, he'd be able to sort of give more perspective on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, without him, because he's apparently the one driving this at this point on select board. So he's also a member of Shopc. In my opinion, it probably makes sense for us to try to have our next meeting at a time that doesn't conflict with select board, so that we can hear what his argument, if you will, and then go from there.
Agree.
I mean, because from our perspective, if we just have our Shopc hats on for the second, we didn't have a dog in the fight as to whether the building's kept or not. We just want affordable housing there. If I take my Shopc hat
I would
on
tend
and
to
put my
agree with you, Tom.
Southborough town resident hat on, I may have an opinion as to whether the building can be preserved. I probably would prefer that it be preserved, and it can be preserved as part of a multi-building affordable housing project. So I think it's not as reconcilable to both preserve the building and to have affordable housing there. Something seems like it's being lost in translation someplace.
Well, I'm empathetic. I hear what you're saying, Tom. I guess when I look at my participation as a planning board member and a Shopc member, I kind of go at things as more along the lines of what's affordable housing in the context of the town's best interest, or I don't know. But yeah, I appreciate what you're saying, that it's purely from an affordable housing standpoint. We don't care. You're right. But
Yeah, and I think if we want to get a true picture of what the actual costs are on that building, instead of just throwing around the terminology of money pit, we might want to talk to John Parent, because he's the one who does all the work on that building. And he would know what the cost is. He would have the absolute answers. So I think that we have someone who has a great deal of knowledge about that building already, since he's already done some renovations in there. And he works on all the systems in that building. He knows the roof, he knows the window, he knows everything. So I think that gentleman is a wealth of knowledge about this building, and that is someone we should probably tap to get some information from. But anyway, I didn't want to get into a big discussion on 21 Highland Street. Because like you said, Al is not here. So I just wanted to see if you guys can put your thinking caps on, and for the 18th, if we can get some kind of talking points. If you want to do it that way, or if you just want to throw stuff around when we get there. I just want to have an organized meeting and not have people just shouting stuff out all the time, because we are going to be in person. So I just thought if we had something written down, it would just help the
So-
organization.
this is October 18th,
Yes.
and we're doing a joint meeting with
Historic. Yeah, because of the value of the building to them. So they have a stake in the building. Recreation. I invited open space and us, and then what I thought is, once we hash through where we were coming from, that the next step would be to get together and then sit down with planning as well, to bring them into the discussion. I just thought a preliminary, okay, what's important to each of these different groups about this building?
Where is this going to take place and what time?
The 18th of October, I emailed you guys. You responded to me, Jesse, at the senior center. But I may
Oh, I
want to try to
apologize.
switch it to a larger area so we can do Zoom, because I don't think the senior center is capable of putting this on Zoom, which is a concern.
And sorry, what time was that, at 7 p.m.
7.
or?
7 o'clock, yeah.
It hasn't been formally noticed yet, right, Dorian, or has it?
No.
Okay, we'll just put it on our schedule now.
I emailed all of you to get feedback. We had a quorum that said yes. Historic just got back to me yesterday, I think. They have a quorum. Freddie just said no, they're gonna have their own discussion on the 25th, and then she'll let me know what they decide. And I haven't heard back from Janet Recreation, so I'll reach out to her again. She may have missed the email too, so I'll just check in with her. Or Kristen, I may have to I'll check in with both of them. Actually, I think Kristen's the new chair, isn't she, for Recreation? Or is Jen still the chair? I don't know. I can't keep track of who's what anymore. Okay,
How do you want to communicate that, Dorian? If you want to get sort of talking points, you want us to just send you something, or?
yeah,
or-
just send me something and I'll make a list from all the
Okay.
different groups. I'll culminate it in a list, and I'll send it to each of the chairs to disseminate to the boards, because all communication is supposed to come through the chair to the board. So I'm going to stick with the rule. Instead of us emailing each other with ideas, I don't want to break open meeting law. I don't want it to look like a discussion. Send them to me, and then I'll send them back out to every one of all the different boards, and I'll put a headline, historic, here's their thoughts. Recreation, here's their thoughts. Here's Shopc, here's what we came up with. So it's just an idea to keep an organized meeting, that's all. If it doesn't happen, you don't get anything from me, it's because nobody sent anything, and we're just going to have a discussion. That's okay, we can do that too. So, okay. Anything else on that? Okay, so I have some really great news. At least I think it's great. I found a piece of property. I've been doing a lot of research, trying to hunt stuff down. Piece of property is owned by the town. There's nothing on it. It's just land. And it is 1.84 acres. And I've checked all of its residential B property. I've checked all of the guidelines and everything. The value is $428,000. And the frontage of it is, I believe, it's on Atwood Street. And the frontage is, hang on. Frontage is, I believe, 360 feet. Hold on, it's right here. That's the wrong one. Not 102. It's like 200. Oh, here it is. Okay. It's 360-foot frontage on Atwood Street. And it is 232 feet on the, if you're looking at it, on the right side, and 230 on the left side. And I can't share this on my, I can email it. I'll email you the pictures. I don't think you can see. See, it has like a funky road that goes through it. It's just a little dirt thing that people have been driving on, it looks like, but that's the property. It's really pretty. Loaded
It
with
doesn't have a
trees.
number just because there's no building on it. It's vacant land. Is that, yeah.
Exactly, but you can't miss it. And it's, if you drive down Atwood, it's on the left-hand side and it's kind of like on a curve, but the whole middle, so the whole outside is surrounded with trees, beautiful trees. And then the middle, it's already cleared. It's all grass.
Isn't it the old water tower site? I used to live at 33 Atwood, right across. Exactly what you're talking about. So, but
If I have,
it's on the hill, basically.
yeah, it's up there, but it's on that curve and then it kind of goes down. So it's kind of like at the peak and then it goes downward. But the town owns the property.
Yep.
We already own it. So I'm not sure. It's right now. It's next door to 40 and 22. Across the street from 33, 35, and 37. Where were you?
33. No, I know it. And the neighbors use it as their second driveway, which is
It's
pretty funny.
It's right across the street from, it's right across the street from 33.
Yeah. Yep.
So you,
Yeah. So I think it was the old
talking-
water. It was. I think it was an old. Yeah, I think it was an old water tower site that the town tore down a long time ago. But I could be wrong. But it's always been there. So I don't think there's any, like you said, I don't think there's anything up there, but besides just, some wood and grass area, but I don't think it's in use. So definitely something that it's there, that's for sure.
So, hi, John, welcome. Anyway, I think it's, I'm trying to find us something, guys. I've been just knocking my brains out. But this is definitely a viable option. It looks like. I have a copy of the deed. I have the assessor's pages. I have all the information on the property. So I'm happy to send this out to everyone.
So Jordan, you said $420,000. Is that just the assessed value that, but the
That's
town
the
owns it?
assessed, yep, that's
Okay,
what the
gotcha.
town has it assessed at, but clearly they're not collecting any they're not collecting any taxes on it because it's town owned. So I also talked to a gentleman today with a building company, and they asked me if we, I said, well, this is what we're kind of thinking. We want to put affordable housing on the lot. We're not really sure which steps have to go at whichever point. Just kind of looking for information right now and kind of getting a feel. So he said, well, it sounds like the first thing you need to do is get an architect. So he sent me the names of 3 architects that they would stand by. So I have the names of the architects. And then he said he would be very happy to come in and talk to us in person. He would love to talk to us in person, especially like a first meeting, which I think is really important. You should meet them in person. And have a discussion about what we would like to see on that. And I said, well, I think we need some guidance as to what can be built. But most important to me, and how I feel about this, it has to meet in the character of that neighborhood. It cannot detract from the value of the properties. It has to be something that will not upset the neighbors and not be overbuilt. I don't want that lot to be overbuilt and just all of a sudden they've got this 10-story building with 100 apartments. I mean, I'm thinking that lot is big enough to hold maybe, you know, a couple of townhouses on it or condos or something along those lines, like maybe even 4 buildings. It's so long. It might be able to do that. Again, I don't know. This is just me throwing stuff out. But I think this is definitely something that is very viable and we have some money. So we could do something with this. And this could be a reality. We've got the HPP done. We've got the strategic plan done. We've got everything done that the state has insisted and mandated that we have. And everything is in place for us to do this. So, and we own the property already, so we don't have to fight about getting money and buying something. I can send. Actually took a video driving down the street of that. I can't share it on my phone though on the here's, can you see? So that's looking to the right when you, so there's like a little dirt road, a little driveway, you go in and that's like one side of the property.
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
It's my phone. I mean, yeah, my watch. And there's the other side of the property.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you know, that place in Hudson that we've been talking about in connection with what in our 21-hour report, that was, you know, I think that was only, I think it was less than 2 acres, and you know, you can fit a lot of,
And yeah,
fit a
then
lot of
there's,
units on that.
you can see the little dirt road where my car is. That's the dirt road, you know, the little dirt driveway, that's from the road that you come in on. So that's looking back and look at the trees. They're beautiful trees. So, you know, you could leave all those trees there and leave this hidden from the neighborhood. So they're, you know, it's not like they're looking at this, something got built there and they still maintain the beauty of that, you know, beautiful treed look that's there, that exists. To me, it's just really important to protect the charm and the character of that street for those neighbors. I understand we want to do affordable housing, but you know, we just have to be cognizant that people live there and we need to be respectful. That's just how I feel about that. So
Why hasn't anything been built on that lot?
no idea.
Good find, Dorian.
Thank you.
So what would be our
I
next
mean, I
step?
haven't done anything in 6 years. You know, I haven't done.
Wait,
Oh.
I apologize. I thought the meeting was at 7:30 and felt bad. I was running a couple minutes late. So I apologize. I was a full hour late. Where's that lot you were just showing, Dorian?
Atwood.
Oh, okay.
There's no number on it. It's on the, like, if you go up the street.
Is that
And
kind
there's-
of by the water tower thing? The old water tower that's up there? Or
Well, that's what Doug was thinking. It was the old water tower was probably there.
Yeah, it's top of the hill.
Top of the hill, and then, yeah, because you start going down the hill and it's next door to like house 40 and 22, house 40 on the right, 22 on the left, and across the street, there's 3 houses. So it's a very long lot. It's 360 feet long. And frontage,
piece.
for, you know, frontage for the town is 150, so. I don't know, maybe 4 multifamily units in there, or I don't know. I don't know what you can or can't do. Again, that's why you would need an architect to design something.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't, I think it's a little, I mean, we wouldn't build it, right? You know, it's 4
I don't know.
townhouses.
We have CPC money. If the town owns that, we could build that with CPC money. We could put something.
But I mean, I think the development cost of that, even for, you know, 4 units would be, I mean, what's your estimate, Doug? I mean, over a couple $1 million at least, right?
But you would be selling those units. People would buy those units with a mortgage. We would sell it to individual families.
Yeah.
They would
But-
own them, and then we would have the right of first refusal when they went to sell that. And because they're affordable units, the deed is very restrictive. It's kind of like Stockwell Lane. So while we you're gonna build a big square building. It's not gonna be fancy. It's not gonna.
Yeah.
go-
Did we build Stockwell? Or was that an existing building that we rehabbed?
I believe that was part of when that development was bought or built, that the builder had to have some affordable units. I think we paid for them. But I'm not sure, Tom. I would have to do the research on that.
Yeah, because I'm just saying, just it's sort of the same analysis as 21 Highland. I think it probably makes more sense to do an RFP and have a developer come in and develop affordable housing on there, and sell the units, and we end up with affordable housing. I'm always skeptical about the town, or let alone Shopc. We don't have any.
No. But that's an option. So the other option.
Yeah, but no, I know
donate.
it's like a smaller version of 21 Highland. It's an opportunity for a piece of property to be developed for affordable housing.
Right, but we could
Be
sell
fantastic.
it to the developer. We could donate it to a developer, and they would pay taxes on the property, which the town's not collecting taxes. So you would be collecting taxes would be making money at that point, and we would get credit for those units. So there's so many different options that we can look at that are viable options. The biggest thing is we have a piece of land that we could actually do something with. So
Would you entertain talking to other towns, Shopsy type things? Like I know Holliston has one, Framingham has one, Ashland has one. Different towns have one. They've done it different ways. Like why wouldn't we bond it and rent it as Section 8 so it'd be actual affordable housing? Like somebody truly that really needs affordable housing instead of somebody that only makes $100,000 a year instead of 150 that can afford it. I'd like to see somebody that doesn't make any money be able to put their kids through the same school and get the same opportunity my kids had. I mean, that's I'd love to see real, true affordable housing in this town. I'll take anything I can get, but it would be so nice to see just somebody that really needs it getting it. And there's other opportunities. I like that piece of property. And if you could put even 3 or 4 units in there, turn it over to somebody else so they get all the capital, and it's bonded, whatever. And we get and you do it as rentals, you get all of them in perpetuity. You own it. Just a thought.
right. We could also lease the land to somebody to build something on, and they pay us, there's so many different ways of handling it, and I'm not the expert on any and all of those, so that would have to be.
That's why I say we should meet with.
Probably knows more than I do. I'm just.
Yeah,
there's a lot of other
get the
towns that
land,
have done it. It'd be
figure out
nice
the
to see their
mechanics
ideas.
that, as we go along, right? Just kind of like we did with 21 Island, and figure out what the best sort of course of action would be.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of other experts and people who are in that industry that we're going to have to rely on and trust to help us make the right decision. To me, this is the first step. I have talked to a building company. It would be nice to at least sit down and talk with somebody and say, hey, we may end up using them, but, we could sell them the land. They're still going to pay taxes on it with the purchase, and we're still going to get credit for the building. What's the best way to handle this for the town of Southborough? That's what we have to keep first and foremost, because that's all that matters. What is the best way to handle this for the town? And we need to get affordability in the town anyway. But we have to be cognizant and we have to be respectful to that neighborhood. There's just no way around that. And I feel very strongly about that. Because it's a really cute, charming little street. I love the street. I was like, oh, I never even saw this. I didn't even know where it was. And I love the street. It's so pretty. It's just a really nice neighborhood. So I don't want to upset anyone over there. But that's me. All right. Anyway, I wanted to share that with everybody tonight.
Yeah, that's good news.
Very excited, busting at the seams. Woo! So I will send you, I have everything digitally. I'm going to send you everything I have. I'll do it tomorrow morning. And then you'll have that. And then I think I can send you the videos and the pictures from my phone. I think I can email that stuff. I've never done that, but I think I can. I will try.
You can. All you got to do is hit the little forward button like you send it as a text, and then it'll show you where, and you just put it in your email and send it through that one.
Oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. Well, that's coming from my personal email, so I'll have to. I don't want to do that. I don't use my personal email for town stuff, so let me, I'll figure it out. I'll try to get the video. If not, I'll just have to text it to you on your phone for your phone numbers. So if I don't have your phone number, please send them to me so I can send you the pictures. But I think it's worthwhile if you guys get a few minutes, you know, in the next week or so, just to drive by and go walk it. It's really pretty. It's a really nice piece of property. So
I've been up there. If that's by the water tower, I used to walk my dog up there. It's nice. Good piece.
it's
Good
just
spot.
super pretty. I mean, one of the neighbors is encroaching on it a little bit, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. Wood pile and a little shed, and that's fine. I mean, it's not a big deal. We're not doing anything with it anyway. So, again, I don't want to upset him. I just got to move that wood. We're going to be building something in here. So, anyway, that's what I had. Does anybody have anything else for tonight? No? Okay. Well, I'm going to let you guys go home. So I guess we need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Okay.
Seconded.
Okay. This is a roll call vote. All those in favor, Jesse,
Aye.
John,
Aye, like I
Tom,
should have a vote.
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
and Dorian is aye. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for the
Thanks
update.
all.
And thanks
Thanks all.
everybody for coming in tonight. And I'll be in touch.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
guys.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
You guys.
Bye.